Hello Taiwan, I'm Jeremy Olivier with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. 3 more suspects have been named in connection to an information leak from within Taiwan's presidential office. Reese Ayers has more.
Accusations of espionage are flying around Taiwan's presidential office. Several people with deep connections to the ruling Democratic Progressive Party and to the president himself are being accused of spying for China. There were 3 individuals identified in the report by Mirror Media, surnamed Cho, Huang and Wu, all with various positions and levels of access within the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, all accused of leaking sensitive information to China, and all coming just a day after former aide to ex-Legislative Speaker Yeol Shi-kun, a founding member of the DPP, was released on bail. Let's zoom in on one person named in that report to get a sense of how deep this all goes. Mr. Wu had been working for the DPP central headquarters since before even former President Tsai Ing-wen was elected back in 2016. He then worked for Lai Ching-te in 2022, back when he was the vice president, apparently in charge of his day-to-day schedule. He was then kept on as an advisor after Lai was elected as president last year. So these are people who have direct access to the leadership of Taiwan. According to the report, Wu's colleagues said they hadn't seen him since Lunar New Year in February, and that his Facebook account had been deactivated. Now it all appears seemingly as a result of being investigated. Wu and the others accused are being held incommunicado as prosecutors continue their investigation. The presidential office has released a rather generic statement saying that they don't comment on individual cases or insinuations, but say that anyone found spying will face severe punishment, going on to say that China is increasingly trying to infiltrate Taiwan and recognizing an urgent need to strengthen the country's national security legislation. This all comes less than a month after Lai held a very serious press conference on this very issue, where he said that Taiwan needs to respond to China's growing attempts to infiltrate the country, including through recruiting political spies, and laid out a long series of measures that Taiwan needs to take to, as he said, protect its sovereignty. The opposition Kuomintang have also jumped on this story, accusing the DPP of allowing communist spies into Taiwanese politics, in a slightly ironic twist, as in Taiwan it's generally perceived that the KMT are the party with closer ties to Beijing. Andy Xue, Devon Tsai and Reese Ayers in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's government is jumping in to help industries that may be affected by massive new U.S. tariffs. The plan has funding for agricultural and industrial sectors. Taiwan's largest industry, semiconductors, has so far been exempted from the tariffs. But as Chris Gorin reports, that doesn't mean it's totally in the clear.
Taiwan's cabinet holds an emergency press conference to address the Trump administration's new 32% tariff on most Taiwanese goods entering the United States, announcing a $2.6 billion package to support industries harmed by the taxes.
以我国对美国的出口的各项产业当中，电子资讯、钢铁、金属、机械、汽车，尤其是零组件、建材等等，还有家电这些产业，目前评估起来，关税影响较为明显而重大。行政团队拟定了9大面向、20项措施，总经费880亿的协助方案，未来要因应产业跟社会的各项需求。
It's the strongest response yet from the government, whose reaction has been muted due to a national holiday. There was one notable exception to the tariffs, however: semiconductors, Taiwan's most valuable industry. In fact, semiconductors account for 60% of Taiwan's export value and 18% of its GDP. A single Taiwanese company, TSMC, makes nearly all the world's most advanced chips, many of which are critical to the biggest firms in the US, like Nvidia and Apple. But the reprieve may be short-lived. Trump says specific tariffs on sectors such as chips and pharmaceuticals are coming.
The chips are starting very soon. We are looking at pharma right now, pharmaceuticals. It's a separate category. And we'll be announcing that sometime in the near future, not too distant future. That's under review right now.
While the Trump administration's goal is to bring high-tech manufacturing back to the U.S., matching Taiwan's chip-making capacity might not be so easy.
It's silly to pretend that what TSMC does can be replicated in the short term. It's years and years and years to get to the point where other manufacturers can do what TSMC does, and TSMC has earned that spot.
The tariffs may impact American consumers as well, raising prices on products like smartphones, computers, and cloud-based services, something consumers might find hard to swallow.
I think it's important for viewers to understand that the majority of people in the U.S. who voted for this. The idea that, hey, we're being taken advantage of in the global economy. Fair people are going to watch this over time. And we have a self-correction mechanism in the U.S. It's called the midterm elections.
The 32% tariffs take effect on April 9th, while those on chips are still in the works. Negotiations are sure to take place before then. And the question for Taiwan is, will the next round of tariffs hit it where it hurts the most? Klein Wong and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Top diplomats from the US, Japan, and South Korea say they're concerned over China's recent military drills around Taiwan. The three countries called for the peaceful resolution of cross-strait issues in a joint statement issued after the NATO Foreign Ministers Summit in Brussels. The statement said they opposed any unilateral attempts to change the status quo in the Taiwan Strait. It also repeated support for Taiwan's meaningful participation in international organizations. Taiwan's foreign ministry has thanked the three countries for their support. Yoon Yeol has been dismissed as South Korea's president after the country's constitutional court upheld his impeachment. Yoon was impeached for a brief martial law declaration late last year that included the deployment of the military to the National Assembly, actions the court says violated the Constitution and rule of law. South Korea has 60 days to hold a presidential election. Yoon is awaiting a separate criminal trial for inciting insurrection. Friday is Tomb Sweeping Day in Taiwan, and many Taiwanese will burn joss paper, or ghost money, to send to their departed relatives. Tiffany Wong went to Miaoli to find out how one family is preserving the craft by hand.
Lost in the rhythm of a 100-year-old tradition, the Chen family works in tandem to put together intricate sheets of joss paper, offerings for the gods and ancestors ahead of the Tomb Sweeping Festival, also known as the Qingming holiday, when people visit their ancestors' graves and offer food, incense, and paper money for their loved ones who have passed away. This is one of the last handmade joss paper shops in the world. Third-generation owner Chen Kunhui has been running his family's business for decades, and they're working hard to keep the tradition alive.
这个是拜神明的，像这样大，拜祖先是用银色的。
Chen is responsible for operating this digital cutting machine, slicing through stacks of yellow bamboo paper, for the rest of his team to attach foil, paint, and red seals by hand. It's a painstaking process, but the Chens work quickly to make thousands of sheets a day.
Over the years, Mr. Chen's workshop has gained a lot of attention, and it's easy to find. Just follow the yellow joss paper road. This stamped ghost money needs to dry in the sun for up to a week before it's ready for final processing.
The Chen's joss paper is more expensive than mass-produced, machine-made ones. Although they're sticking to tradition, they have made some upgrades to set their paper money apart. The Chens have adjusted their processes to include less harmful materials, so that when they burn the paper to send it to the underworld, they don't pollute this world's environment as much. But that's not enough to save this tradition from changing times.
拢一寡老花啊，老花若走去就无人接起来就无去啊。即马做这款的有剩3间，机器化还佫4、5间，安尼，免讲，做一寡卖甲进口同款，安尼免讲市场还佫有啦。
Many local governments have implemented measures to lessen environmental pollution from temples. At one popular temple in Taipei, many visitors still opt to buy joss paper as offerings. but they can't burn it themselves. Instead, they place it in these bags for temple staff to burn later.
我觉得不是自己烧，还是一样是一个心意，因为通常都是庙方会统一，就是一起去烧化，所以我觉得我自己对这块还算放心。
以前还可以自己烧，那现在就是集中，然后庙会帮忙烧，就是少了一种就是自己对神明的那种感觉。
Some temples have come up with solutions so that people can still burn the paper themselves, like upgrading their furnaces to filter out pollutants, maintaining their connection with the gods and their ancestors. But the demand for handmade joss paper may face more challenges, as these intricate stacks of paper money are reduced, like all other matter, to ashes in the end. Kamashri and Tiffany Wong in Zhunan, Taiwan for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's premier technology research institute has won a total of 7 medals at the 2025 Edison Awards. Taiwan's ITRI won 3 gold, 3 silver, and 1 bronze at the awards ceremony in the U.S. state of Florida. ITRI was awarded for its contributions in biomedical technology, net zero sustainability solutions, and artificial intelligence. NVIDIA founder Jensen Huang, who was born in Taiwan, was given a Lifetime Achievement Award. India's expanding cities are grappling with an escalating crisis of water pollution. In northern India, dedicated volunteers are taking action to clean the banks of the Yamuna River, removing trash one piece at a time, by hand. Adol Brar reports.
The Yamuna River flows through India's capital, New Delhi, and its waters are considered by some to be sacred. This river bank was once highly polluted with human and industrial waste. But now, a group of volunteers led by environmental activist Pankaj Kumar is painstakingly cleaning it up by hand.
यहाँ पे जो हम लोग बैठे हुए हैं ना, आज से अगर 5 साल पहले आते तो यहाँ पे लोग नहीं आते थे। ये इतना गंदा था कि यहाँ पे जो है नीचे आप धोता कपड़े जमे हुए थे पूरा, कोई भी नहीं आता था, घाट पे बदबू आती। बट जो है बच्चों ने, टीम ने बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत की, मेरे टीम ने भी, दूसरे की टीम ने भी बहुत मेहनत करके सारे सॉलिड वेस्ट को हटा के यहाँ से हटाया। तो आज ये घाट ऐसा बन चुका है कि ये घाट पे आप आके पूजा कर सकते हैं, ये घाट पे आप आके जो है बैठ सकते हैं आप।
New Delhi produces about 3.6 billion liters of sewage each day. However, less than half of the sewage is treated effectively, with large amounts of trash ending in the Yamuna. Kumar and his group of volunteers can be seen gathering waste from the banks of the river. They hope to transform the river bank by cleaning the trash themselves.
भाव इसलिए जुड़ा कि जब आप बार-बार एक जगह आ रहे हैं, आप देख रहे हैं उसकी कंडीशन कितनी वर्स है, फिर आपको लग रहा है कि आपकी एक छोटी पॉलिथीन उठाने से ही अगर कुछ इम्पैक्ट आ रहा है तो आपको वो करना चाहिए। शायद आज ना सही, लेकिन और 5 साल बाद हम कामयाब तो होंगे, एक उम्मीद के साथ।
Today, the river bank is cleaner than a few years ago, bringing people back to the riverside. As India's economic growth picks up, the size of the cities like New Delhi has grown dramatically. This has led to waste increasingly ending up in the rivers. Kumar says removing trash is only a small part of the puzzle and hopes the local authorities will take the lead in treating Delhi's wastewater.
पहली बात है कि हमें जो हमारे दिल्ली के ड्रेन्स है या आसपास के ड्रेन्स है उसकी वाटर क्वालिटी इम्प्रूव कैसे हो उस पर ध्यान देना होगा। उनमें जो वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटेड अनट्रीटेड मिले, जो ट्रीटेड मिल रहे क्या वो स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से काम कर रहे हैं ये देखना होगा, और जो अनट्रीटेड सोर्स है उनको हमें ट्रैप करना होगा, उनको ट्रैप करके आप उनको ट्रीट करें।
High levels of pollution in the Yamuna River became a hot topic during the capital's legislative elections earlier this year. But while politicians debate solutions, a dedicated band of volunteers is taking action, showing that individuals can make a difference. Adil Brar and Scott Huang for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more of our stories. Finally, check out this endangered 100-year-old Galapagos tortoise couple at the Philadelphia Zoo. I'm Jeremy Olivier. Take care and see you next time.